What's up, everybody? We just had the Fed speak, and the market's obviously volatile. We can see some pretty interesting price swings this morning, or I should say afternoon. So if we look at the small time frames here, you can see, right, we started going up, then slam back down, all the way up, take the high, slam back down. Now we're pumping again. Super volatile. That's just the way it goes. What is it doing in the grand scheme of things? That's the big question, because once tomorrow hits, everyone's going to forget what the Fed said anyway. So it's all about the bigger picture, right? And when we look at the bigger picture, this is just taking a look here at Litecoin. You could see we have this impulse, right? And we also have a three-wave pullback here. So is it finished? It looks like we have an A, B, C. So what is going on here? Well, it looks like we're creating some type of base, which is good. You can also see potentially here a five-wave move and some type of three-wave pullback. 1, 2, running flat. Maybe this is it. We're ready to go. Or we could see, like we have 3 up. We could get 3 back down. Complete the base here. Boom, 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 boom. Just oscillating in the base and then break out a little bit later on. So those are the bullish ideas. The bearish ideas are not really too many bearish ideas here. I mean, if you look at the grand scheme of things on this more zoomed out look, you could see 3 down, right? We got 3 up, and we got 3 back down. So we have this running flat potentially, right? And this looks pretty bullish. So if we can hold our base here right in the middle, so you take the running flat, you cut it right in half. That's right where we are. That's where we should stay. And then let's see if we can continue. If we come back down, it could be a regular flat or it could be an expanded flat. But the way it looks to me right now, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good right now. The reason why is because you can see there's some support here and we're holding it. So that's what we want to see. We want to hold 105. As long as we're above 105 for Litecoin, we're looking mighty good. Damn, we're still pumping up here. So I should have probably added to my position. I was a little bit sketched coming down here. I didn't like the way that was coming down. So I ended up cutting some of the trades. And then once we came back here, I got back in. I was kind of getting washed in, washed out, but all in all, got some profits for the day, locked it in, and now I'm just kind of holding some of them to see if we can get a little bit more momentum out of here. I had a couple trades open, Litecoin and Link here, and also SHIB and Algo. So this is just for my daily trades, in and out, no problem. So you can see, just looking at the small time frame, we got a little bit of a dump there. Yeah, so I'm monitoring the trades. Some of them I already cut. Because if you don't trade on Fed Day, then I mean that's pretty big paydays for some traders, right? For me, I don't like to trade a lot of money on small time frames, so I just kind of play it cool. But anyways, CFX, you got this sort of broadening diagonal here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. So I would like to see 1, 2. Let's see if we can get a big 3 up, and then probably get 3 back down, back test this area, go sideways a little bit, and then start flying. I mean, that's kind of the best case scenario I see. I don't see anything spectacular, at least until maybe March or so. Now that could be changed if we get a big push back to, you know, this in February, right? A big push back to the 702 or even up here at the 618 even. So we'll see how that plays. But let's look at the dominance is kind of stagnant. I like the way it looks though. It's kind of giving me a bearish looking wedge. So maybe we pop up here one more time and then we just start coming down. And then you have your crash. And then you have your three-wave pullback. Or I'm sorry, your impulse, your three-wave pullback, and then a continuation. That's what we want to see for altcoin holders. Theta. Theta looking all right. I mean, yeah, when you look at this chart, you know, it's one of those things where you just got to wait a little bit until this flattens out. Because it has a lot going for it, right? It has an impulse. It has a three-wave pullback right there. So you can see that's a nice three-wave pullback. It's okay. We didn't take the low out. So it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. You got three down here. Or I'm sorry, you got three down here, right? So you got three down, three up, three back down. You got a completed three-wave move. You're back down here at the bottom. This could be a double bottom. You could see how we wicked out. So let's see if we hold. If we could create a little bit of a base here and start trending up, you know, we can get some type of structure in here to propel us to the upside. Is that going to happen? Well, we'll have to wait and see. It's still very early, you know. I mean, you can see this is a big sort of descending triangle, and we just broke below it. So what if we're back testing it, and now we're going to continue lower? That's always a risk, right? So the bull side of it is you got an impulse three-way pullback. The bear side of it is, you know, what if it's a descending triangle here? And you broke below it. Now you're retesting it as resistance and you're going to keep coming down. Well, if we did keep coming down, then we would have to keep an eye on these fib levels, probably somewhere around that 125, 140 area. So if we look at that really quick, you can see we're approximately, 144, 130, right around there. So not too bad if we had to come back down. But then we also have all this support over here, over there, right? So, you know, this might just have to roll over one more time. Maybe. We'll have to see. There's no evidence to me that the low is in yet. It's just, this right here is just not enough. I need more structure. Like, the best thing would have been, like, if we came down here and then we created somewhat of a bigger base and then the Fed started speaking and it broke us out, that would have been a good thing. If we look super small time frames, you know, I'm just not convinced. I don't know, like, we have a three-wave move here, right? So we could always come down, right? This could be a 1-2, and this could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it has to prove that. I mean, there's no guarantee that's what it's going to be. I mean, it looks pretty bullish right now. We got a pretty nice pump here. You know, we got a pretty nice looking pump over the last hour, you know. So, and I believe the Fed is done speaking. So there's not going to be any more surprises, hopefully. But all I have is 3, right? So I'm not sure. In the meantime, we'll have to keep an eye on it here. I mean, 88 looks a little bit better because it looks more like a 3-wave pullback. So let's see if we can get up here and break this. That's what we need to break. So come up, we get rejected, but then instead of impulsing down following the rejection, we get a three-wave pullback so that the price following the rejection can reset itself to muster up the momentum to make another attempt at it. Let's see if we can. Or if we get rejected in here and here, you know, maybe we'll roll down. But let's see if we can push our way through it. Today's Wednesday, so Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays seem to be pretty volatile days, especially Wednesdays and Thursdays I've seen lately. So we'll see if tomorrow or even later today we get a bigger push to the upside. Because I was going to say if we were going to come down here back to the low, then I would look for a more of a, maybe even a Wyckoff looking base to get us back going. So, but yeah, I mean, so far it's a weird looking three-wave shape here, but we have three and we also have three here. So we have three up and we have three down. Okay. And then we have an impulse and now we're flagging out. This could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So three up, three down, five up, right? So it's usually 3, 3, 5, 3, 3, 3, or 5, 3, 5. Right? Or yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's see how that works. On the bigger picture, you know, it's pretty good, nice, because you got three down, you got three up, and then you got three back down. Right? So boom, boom, boom. There's your three. Now let's see if we can go up. But we don't know if this three waves is finished because, you know, this could be coming down. Maybe we need another push up and then another move down and make it a bigger three. But it doesn't make too much sense because, you know, looking at it this way, we're just waiting for this wave to finish. I don't know if this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or if it's going to be 1, 2, 3. That's always the tricky part. But all in all, I mean, you know, it should work out. So we'll see if that plays. That's pretty much it. What about XRP? Now, XRP is just looking phenomenal. It looks beautiful. It looks great. It looks fantastic. It looks like very beautiful wave structure. I'm just looking at the time frames here. So look, if you look at the daily candle, I mean, that's bullish. I mean, look at that. You know, we're impulsing in here. We got a three-wave pullback. We got a beautiful doji. That is a super bullish hammer candle right there. I mean, look at that thing. That thing's got a long tail, right? Think of it like a rifle. The longer the barrel, typically the more accurate it will be. So this is like a sniper rifle here about to shoot out. Yeah, it looks great. I don't know what else to say. If we look, we got to look closer here, and you can see that obviously here's your impulse. We have three waves down, right? Three waves down. And then we have this impulse to the upside. And now it looks like we're flagging out inside of that. And that's exactly what I was saying a couple days ago, a little bit there. So you can see, whoops, right here, right? We obviously that's what we were looking for, right? So we had our three wave, we had our impulse, or we were getting our impulse. We were at 308. We came all a little bit higher, and now we're starting to drag down. So this is so far it's playing out exactly to our idea here, and that's what we want to see. So, But here's where it gets really interesting. Look at just what happened recently. Now, this is the 4-hour candle. It hasn't closed yet, but if you look here, look at this freaking candle right here. Remember the daily we were just looking at? Right over here. Look at that daily candle. See the wick? Okay, that's great. But now look at this. We have that same candle, the same style candle in the 4-hour candle following the 3-wave move. I mean, you can't get any better than that. Look at this, guys. Oh my God. Oh my God. Look at that. You got this impulse. You got a 3-wave pullback. And then look at this. You got your liquidity grab here. You took out the low, right? You take this whole wave, you cut it in half. Look at people stepped up to the plate to buy this thing. I don't care if the Bitcoin maxis are having a little temper tantrum because XRP's a big threat to their whole situation over there in Bitcoin crazy land. Now that the SEC doesn't have its freaking foot over our throat anymore, so they're a little bit nervous, right? But I still believe that they love money more than they love Bitcoin, and some of those guys are very smart. They're not stupid. Some of them are crazy and ridiculous, but some of them are very smart, and they know bullish when they see it. They know price structure when they see it, right? And when you look at this whole thing and you look at this chart and you have to ask yourself, does my hatred of XRP supersede my willingness to hunt for gains, percentages? Absolutely not, right? So, in my opinion, you have Bitcoin maxis on Twitter ranting and raving over XRP, hating on it. At the same time, those same people are buying and trading XRP right now. I guarantee it. Because what do they want? They want more Bitcoin. Well, how do you get more Bitcoin? You got to trade your Bitcoin in order to get more Bitcoin. And what is the best thing to trade right now? XRP. There's no other chart that looks like this. I mean, there's a lot of super pent-up demands. There's a lot of coiled energy in here. I urge anyone new to go back and watch the videos back over here. Just go back 6 months ago and watch one of my videos and listen to what I said. Right? Go back 9 months ago. Go back 10 months ago. And you'll listen and you'll understand exactly where I'm coming from now. And it's quite remarkable how far we've came. Right? There were so many people who were giving up in here. There were so many people who just didn't understand what was going on. But I came on here, we came on here every single day to explain exactly what this is. Right? And what this is just what that was over there. Right? And it's very complicated, but it was very challenging. I'm not going to say it was easy. It was very challenging to know exactly what it was doing. But at the same time, when you zoom out, it was pretty clear what it was doing, which was reaccumulation. Box 1, reaccumulation. Box 2, liquidity grab. Box 1, box 2, liquidity grab. But more than that, you could say, well, that's easy to say, but what was it? Well, you can clearly see, and the reason I'm going back to this is because you're going to see in just a second why I'm referencing this. But look at this, how bullish this was. You know, if you just look at it like that, you know, to me it still looks very bullish, but most people looked at it and, you know, they didn't really quite get it. And that's okay. And that's why I like making these videos, because I get to explain things that I can't find other people explaining. So this right here was a 1 year long 3-wave pullback. This thing took 1 year from July all the way down to July of the following year. That took 1 year, guys. That was a 1 year 3-wave pullback. That is insanely bullish. So you have, the bigger the structure, the more time it takes, the more explosive that gunpowder is going to explode, right? So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you have A, B, C. You have 1, 2, 1, 2. I mean, it's pretty clear. And then, so there's your 1, there's your 2. And now you pump up, and then you flag out again. Super, super bull. That's it. Why am I bringing this up? Because that's exactly what's happening right now. Okay? So just remember that. We have an impulse. We have a 3-wave pullback. We have another impulse in the 3rd wave, and we're flagging out, and then you can see what happened after that. It was lights out. So now we fast forward right now, and now you're going to know why I'm bringing this up. Now look at it. Now look at it. You got an impulse, same thing. You got a 3-wave pullback, exactly the same thing. And then not only that, you have the impulse, and now you're flagging out. What happens next? Guys, this is freaking insane. Look at this. Let me actually do this right here. I'm going to put them side by side, and we're going to look at this. Look how, I just love looking at it because it's so beautiful. Look at this thing, man. It's freaking beautiful. So, again, 5 up, 3 down. 5 up, 3 down. And then you have this impulse right here. This was the key, right in here. Go back and let's see. Let's look right at October. Go back, watch my videos in October. Go back, watch the videos in August. All throughout in here. This flag right here. Especially, let's see. Especially in October. So September and October, go back and watch some of those videos. And I'm saying the exact same thing I'm saying right now. How insanely bullish it was. And I know some people believed me, but I bet a lot of people didn't because they were so complacent of what it, and no fault to their own, because it's been like this for 2.5, 3 years, right? I mean, we've been going stagnant for years. So why all of a sudden would we be bullish and go up when everybody, all the XRP TA guys that have been posting for years, and they're constantly wrong. Oh, it's going to go up, wrong. It's going to go up, wrong. And it just never happened, right? And it, because it took longer than most people anticipated. But what I'm saying is, once we had this 3-wave move done, once we had the impulse done, once we then started flagging out, and then once we had the A, B, C in here, then that's when things get really insane. And that's exactly what we have here, guys. I mean, it's literally, we can blast off tonight. We can blast off tomorrow morning. That's how freaking close we are compared to what happened over here. Now, this is not financial advice. I could be totally wrong. This could go like this, boom, and then go all the way down and go to 0, and you could lose all your money. But I don't really believe that, so I'm sticking with what I said. And so now we can see, let me just line it up like that there. And there we go, guys. Look at that. I turned the lights on for everybody so they can see it. Look at that. There we go. Now you see what I see. Do you see what I see? Look at this, man. This is amazing. All right, there we go. Done. Okay, now what? All right, now we don't need that anymore. So let's take that off and let's look at this candle. Look at this freaking candle, man. That thing's insane. It's never a guarantee, though. It's not always a guarantee. Okay, it's just not. So when I look at the 30-minute chart of XRP and I compare that to like SHIB, I mean, there's no comparing. There's no comparing. First of all, look at the difference in the structure. XRP has a big impulse that took the high, and then it also has a shallow dump and then it has oscillation. It has a 3-wave pullback. It has that classical shape. Now look at SHIB. It had a very shallow pump. It never even got to the top, let alone the bottom. It had a big dump. It had a shallow retrace, and it had a little tiny thing like that. So compare that to XRP. I mean, there's just no comparing. So what does this mean? This means XRP's got a lot of strength compared to the rest of the market, and we need to pay attention to that. And that's why we see, the Bitcoin maxis getting a little bit upset, but it's okay. So what now? Okay, we have all this information. Now what? What are we gonna see? Well, here's the problem. And yes, there could be a problem. This right here was all news driven. That volatility, this swing here, this wick here, that was all the Federal Reserve. It was all people trading. So we need to allow time to pass in order to get this kind of leveled out here. Because I don't know, I mean, everything looks super bullish. It looks like it's ready to rip. The only thing I'm not so confident about is how relative it is to, the Federal Reserve speaking and the volatility associated with it compared to a normal day of trading and the reaction based off freaking spam phone numbers. Man, you just gotta, you inquire about something online and then they just blow you up, So anyways, we want to see a little bit of flagging out in here. So that's kind of what I want to see. So we got a big pump, we got a big reaction in here. So this would be our wave 1 potentially, right? So you have 1, and then you flag out for a 2, and then you go up for a 3, right? And then 4, and then 5. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. Now on the zoomed out look on here, again, I'm still looking for a little bit of a flag in here. And then I want to see a forceful vengeance breakout. So this could literally happen tomorrow. That's how close we are. So we'll see. It's not a guarantee. It might take next week. It might take till next Wednesday. I don't know. I mean, I just don't see that happening. I think it'll be less likely because if you go, let's see, if I take a vertical line. Okay, so today's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, I think it's got to happen within the next 3 days because there would be too much room in between. So I mean, I'm looking at either Thursday or Friday. We should see a reaction. If not, if we come back down and then we start going like this again, well, then it could be some kind of triangle, right? We have to take that into consideration as well. Like we have A, maybe this goes up B, and then we come down C, and then we go up D, and then we go down E, and then you have some kind of triangle in here, and then you break out all the way till like February 2nd, right? What is that? That's, yeah, that's still like Saturday, Sunday. So we'll, that's still a little bit of ways away, but my main idea here is for this to come back down and flag out a little bit. Come back down, flag out, hold, make a higher low, and then freaking just go. So that's it for XRP. Where are we going though? Where are we going? Well, on the short term, if we look at the 2-hour chart here and I just pull a trend-based fib extension from boom to here, back down, contingent, this is the low. It might not be, but hopefully it is. We're looking at easily 340. We're looking at all-time highs, guys. All-time highs. 346 equals an all-time high. And that is only a 1-to-1 extension. So that is the bare minimum, right? So if this is boom, So you have 3, and then you have to equal that wave. So this wave, here's your connector, and here's another wave. So that's a 3-wave move. Now, chances are, if this is an impulse, we're not going to 346, guys. We're going higher. How much higher? Well, you're looking at the 1618 at $3.80, and that, from where we are now, that's a good 20+% away, 25% away there, just about. Especially if we pull back a little bit, it'll be more like 30%. But the best way to measure it is from the low. Yeah, 30%. Perfect. Okay, so that's the 1618. And then you also have targets all the way up to, $5, guys, $5.30. So if this is a 1, we got a 3-way pullback. This thing can go all the way up and an extended third, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you flag out for a 4, and then you pop up in 5. Guys, we could hit $5 by the second week of February. That sounds gnarly. Now, again, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm saying it's possible. It's all about possibilities through probabilities. What is feasible, right? And it definitely is. It definitely is possible to hit $5 by the second week of February based off this wave structure. Now, is it going to do that? I don't know. I would feel more comfortable saying between 350 and 450 within the next 2 to 3 weeks. So 350 to 450 in the next 2 to 3 weeks. That's kind of what I'm thinking here. But it obviously that could totally change if we have something drastic happen. But as of right this minute, I'm suggesting that. Now, if we break this low, then no, right? We cannot. I don't even want to break that low. So we have to hold strong here. We have to hold strong. We have to hold steady. We have to hold the line. If we don't hold the line, if we start, because here's the way I look at it. If you look at these lines in here, these lines right here, right there, right there, right there, this is all support to me, right? So this is a very key area here, and that comes in at 306. So we're literally 2 pennies away from being bearish. I mean, not so much bearish. I would actually put it down a little bit further, maybe $3. So we really want to stay above that $3 mark. If we have a 4-hour candle close below $3, I'm taking that sort of call, or not, it's not a call. I don't do calls. I don't even do predictions really, but let's just call it an idea. That idea would be shot down. So, but yeah, it looks super, super, super good. I mean, this is probably the best I've seen it in a long time. So, I'm just not really liking this candle as much anymore. You see how it's kind of getting doji-ish? We want it more bull hammerish, right? So the problem with the candle potentially could be, now these candles are really bullish on the bottom, but you see how we come down and then we level off, and then you have this green candle, we go up, and then we have the doji on top of this move to the upside, versus if we flip the chart upside down, now you see the difference here. Now, never mind the tail, but if you see here how we're going down and then we have the doji versus going up and then we have the doji, it's 2 different types of situations here. But when we zoom in really closely, I don't have 5 waves out of here. Let me see. I got to look at this really closely here. Yeah, you could see there's so much volatility in here, So that's why I'm saying let's give it at least 8 to 12 to 24 hours to see, because you kind of want it to, if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is A, and this is B, and now we're coming down for C, I want to see it level off here, build a little bit of a base, flag out, right? Kind of consolidate a little bit, maybe, you know, come back down to $3 and then reset itself. So we'll see how that plays. But anyways, let's move on here. Now, when I look at coins like, when I look at the rest of the market, it kind of makes me doubt that for XRP in a weird way because of how, you know, it doesn't look ready. Like XRP looks like it's ready. It's ready to go. But when I look at Theta, it looks like you have 3 up and it looks like you're getting resistance in here. So to me, we would need to flag out and then to break out, right? Unless this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if that's the case, this is 1, 2, 3. This could be an ABC here. Then that's great. But again, I'm going to need to literally see that proof. Otherwise, I'm expecting it to kind of come back down, maybe drag around, and then maybe reattempt it later. February is just around the corner. So a new monthly candle close. Let's look at the monthly candle close, by the way. It looks okay. You know, we pulled back into this little zone over here. So, but I don't see a monthly candle just charging out of there. You know, a lot of times, you know, when you come down, you got to go sideways for a couple months. You come down, maybe we go sideways for 1 month, February, and then March we take off, and then April we have that, maybe that continuation. It's really hard to know right now because the market, you know, when I look at Theta, it just doesn't look finished to me. It looks like it needs a little bit of something. Maybe give me 3, 4, 5 days. Give me a week to see what happens in here because we need structure. We need to see what the structure looks like because of now, all we have is just a big move down. We're holding support, but that doesn't mean we're going to blast off. It doesn't mean we're going to break down. It just means that's where we are. Now the shape looks okay, but yeah, I'm going to need to see more. So that's pretty much it for that. Theta Fuel. See, Theta Fuel looks better now because it has more structure. I can see we're working on a move here. So this could be 3 up. This could be 3 down. Maybe we go down a little bit more. We don't break the low here, right? We build a little bit of a base and then we continue higher. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe it's a broadening wedge here, which could be the case, right? It looks pretty good. All right, let's just take some random coins. AVAX, yeah, you know, you got this big heavy cloud over your head. So, you know, the rest of the market looks bearish, you know. I just put a video out, Monero. I recorded that video yesterday. Since then, Monero has came down a little bit. But the video stands for itself. It's a long-term video, right? But yeah, when I look at this, it looks bearish to me. It looks like it needs to finish, it needs to go sideways, and then we can go up. So if we have this piece of the puzzle, you got this piece of the puzzle, you got this puzzle piece, and you have this puzzle piece, but we don't have that final puzzle piece that I'm looking for to say, okay, let's go. But for XRP, you know, it looks like all the pieces are there. And that's what makes it challenging. Like, well, how can one chart be so drastically different than another crypto chart when we're used to them being all pretty much cohesive, you know, pretty much together, right? So anyways, we'll see how that plays out. Matic, same thing. You know, you got this big heavy cloud over your head and you're kind of underneath it. So you need to create distance, you need to create structure, you need to create time, you need to consolidate, you need to get away, you need accumulation, and then we can go up. So that's what I'm looking for. And a great example of that is Bitcoin back over here. And I'll use the full screen. So let's go up to the 8-hour chart. And let's go back in time a little bit. Even right here, here's a good example. So you see how you have this big cloud over your head and you drop down, and here's Crypto Brandon saying, yeah, it doesn't look good. It needs more time. And then we come back, we go sideways a little bit. It looks okay, it looks better. Go sideways a little bit more. And then we blast off like nothing happened. But this was the final piece of the puzzle right here. And that is a beautiful example of what I was just referring to with AVAX, Theta, SHIB, all the rest. Here's another example. See how you have this low volatility right here? It gets smaller, smaller, and then it flatlines, it dies, and then it drops down. So we're like right here. So we still need to finish the low, maybe finish the low, maybe the low's in. I will have to see, but what we need to do is we need to go up. We need 5 waves. We need to flag out for a pullback. We need to consolidate a little bit more. Look at the base in here. You see all that structure? That's what I want to see in a coin like, let's take Ethereum Classic, for example. It doesn't matter which coin you look at. It could be any coin. They're all pretty much the same. And you could say, well, we have all this structure down here, and that's true, and it does look different. But see, Ethereum Classic is different because it hasn't broken the low. It's still in its range, which is bullish. But if we look at SHIB, okay, here's a good example. SHIB, right? You have your low volatility. You came back down, just like what we just saw with Bitcoin. Remember that picture? And then what happened? We kind of go down, we come back up, we flag out a little bit, and then we carry on. That's exactly what Bitcoin did. Now, I'm not saying it's going to take this long, but we need something like that. That's what I want to see right here. Something to that effect. All right. Algo. Now, something like Algo, we haven't broken this trend line here. So we could keep pumping very easily. Let's see, Link here. Link also looks good because you have this 3-way move down, you have this impulse, and now you're flagging out. So it could kind of pump alongside XRP if it wanted to. But a good example, and then you also have ADA. Let's see here. It was AVAX. This is the one here. Okay. So AVAX would need to do something like what we just looked at with Bitcoin. So speaking of Bitcoin, right? Again, that example is right here. There's 2 examples. Here's your big cloud. You break below it, but then you build a base, and then you can go. Right? Same thing back over here. Low volatility, big cloud, you drop below the cloud, and then you create this base, and then you break out. So we're like right here or right here for the market, for AVAX, or even other ones too. But for the current time frames, actually Bitcoin looks okay right now. I mean, I don't really like the 3-wave shape here. It looks like maybe it could be almost finished. So I would have much rather seen Bitcoin do this. So, I mean, it looks okay. I guess you could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's some weird diagonal. And then you have A, B, C. There's your 3-way pullback. And now we're pumping up. I mean, that could totally be the case, right? Or you can say this is A, B, and now we're getting C. So we have 3 down, and then we're going to get 3 up, and then maybe 3 back down later on, and it's going to be some weird looking WXY or three-way pullback. But what I was going to say is I would much rather have seen Bitcoin kind of come back down, come back up, and then flag out, and then break out. Something like that. That would offer us a double bottom. It would give us a higher low. It would give us the wife cough look, as opposed to crashing and then having a three-way pullback, because that could be bearish, right? If I flip the chart upside down, you have a pump and a three-way pullback. So it could be bullish, but it's actually bearish, right? So we'll see how that plays. So you got point A, point B, point C. Here's the top, here's the bottom. We're in the middle. So the middle is always the hardest part, because that's the retracement levels. Those are your fib levels. And currently, just by looking at it, I would say around the 50 to the 618. Yep, right there. 50 to 618. So basically, we're in that golden zone in here. So yeah, we're gonna need time. Time. We got to be patient. We got to be patient. We got to be patient. Speaking of Monero, ooh, look at Monero now, guys. Look at Monero now. You got the three-wave pullback. You got an impulse, and you got a three-wave pullback. It looks pretty damn good here. You know, I was looking at this, okay, we have three down. Maybe this is an impulse. We can get ready to go. But it turned into more complex. Three down, three up, and then maybe a three back down, or even five down and then go. We'll see. But right now, it looks pretty decent here. I wish I did take a little bit off the table. But maybe I shouldn't have. I don't, you know, I'm being very cautious, because the rest of the market still seems kind of sketchy. It needs work. Like I said, it needs that last puzzle piece, and then I'll be happy. But things like XRP look like they're ready. So that's why it's a little bit confusing. So yeah, that'll do it for this video. Again, Monero looks pretty good here. You know, look at the three-way pullback. Impulse, three-way pullback. So if we can create a little bit of a structure in here and then break out of there, that would be amazing. Because when you look at the grand scheme of things, it looks insanely bullish. And I've said this many times. So if Monero fails, you know, it's, I mean, I just don't really see it, you know, it's just very hard. The only way I would get extremely bearish on Monero is if Monero broke back below between 178 and say 185. If we go below 185, 178, then yes, I will flip bearish on Monero. But as long as we're staying above 185, I'm very bullish, because this is a massive range, right? We have a three-way pullback. We have a massive impulse, a three-way pullback, a lot of accumulation in here. We broke out, we back tested, and now we're right back to the swing high. I mean, this is playing with fire. You know, we're right there. So the only problem that I see with Monero is that I'm not sure if this is a B wave. This could be, for example, you know, A, B, and C, and then we go up, and then we retest 185 maybe later on in the month, or at the beginning of next month, right? Same thing right here. You could see, is this A, B, and now we need C? You know what I mean? So there's still a little bit of hesitation with me with this coin. The way I would get super bullish is if we started breaking above 225. If we had a daily candle, let's see the daily. Oh man. If we had a daily candle close above 225 or even 230, Yeah, between, yeah, I would say 223, 224. If we had a daily candle above that, that's when I would get extremely bullish. But right now, I'm a little bit hesitant. I'm a little bit sort of cautious right in here, you know, because you got a top, another top, another top. There's a lot of resistance there. So, but we have an upsloping trend line to support us. So if we had to come back down and retest it later, we'll see if we can hold it. I think we will. But there's always that risk that this could be A, B, C, and then go up. But even if it is, who cares? You know what I mean? This is a long-term hold. This is not a short-term hold. This is a long-term hold, because it's going to take quite a bit of time to get to where I think it could get. I think that's it for everything. I mean, look at Litecoin on the weekly. Litecoin on the weekly looks bullish. Look at the bullish hammer candle. It's trading above the base in here. That looks pretty nice. See, sometimes we forget to look at the higher time frames on some of these charts because it gives you a different look. It gives you a different perspective on things. But yeah, that 12-hour candle looks pretty nice. You had that three-way pullback, and now you got your pump in here. So, same with Algorand. It looks okay right now. So I'm expecting upside. You know what I mean? So we'll see how that all plays out. But yeah, I think that'll do it for this video. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Keep your eye on Trump. Not Trump per se, but the meme coin. If you look at the meme coin, guys, this is interesting to me because we have a little bit of something like that. We got a bottom, you know, sort of an inverse head and shoulders potentially in here. So it looks pretty good. We also have, did we get bullish divergence? No, because it's the chart is so new. But yeah, we did. Look at this. Boom, boom. There's your bullish divergence. You had to move up, and now you're building a higher low. So there's your low. You're building a base on top of that higher low. So this could easily be a three-way pullback and then a dump, right? Like, for example, 3 down, 3 up, and then 3 back down, and then go up, right? You know what I mean? So there could be a lot of shenanigans in here. It's choppy, it's messy, it's brutal, but I think eventually this thing could potentially round up and out of there. Now, it's very hard to know because it's such a brand new coin, and you don't know where the liquidity really is. You don't know where a lot of, there's a lot of unknowns. I'm just simply going by, you got a three-way pullback, you got divergence, you got inverse head and shoulders potentially. So it looks okay. But anyways, I will catch you guys. Remember, not financial advice. I could be wrong. I can always be wrong. So just understand that. But anyways, I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.